She's very, very angry, so I've been told. If it was 5 years ago, she would have invited Meghan. But I think there's so few people now who haven't seen what she's really like and actually how upset the royal family have been and how revoltingly rude she's been, that she wasn't invited.
Breaking today, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle furious after missing the $20 million wedding of the year between the Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his wife. We now know they are already married, Lauren Sanchez. But as every awful American celebrity, from the Kardashians to Katy Perry, flies into Venice, there are two people missing who would have just a few months ago expected to have been there.
Why do 0% of Hollywood's hottest events include Meghan Markle lately? Is the royal sparkle starting to fade? Let's spill the A-list tea.
Our royal mastermind, Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, has been following these events quite closely. Angela, I mean, look, this wedding is very gauche, isn't it? And of course, it really has divided the divided the feelings of the world. But what do you know about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in terms of their feelings, their fury at missing out because they've become radioactive?
Oh, that was just right for Meghan, wasn't it? This sort of enormous team celebrations. I think she's very, very angry, so I've been told. And because Lauren Sanchez, bride to be, oh no, she's already married. They married a month ago, but the service won't happen, but all the rest of the jollity will. And she quite liked Meghan. She thought she was very nice. And I imagine that if it was 5 years ago, she would have invited Meghan. But I think there's so few people now who haven't seen what she's really like and actually how upset the royal family have been and how revoltingly rude she's been, that she wasn't invited. Of course, they have said they've been too busy, but that's a standard thing to say when they haven't been invited somewhere. But also, I think that Lauren, in a second thought, wouldn't want Meghan there because she takes a lot of attention, doesn't she? And she'll be safely running round the men who are the richest and seeing how she can, get a bit of fun. And I just think that that's not happening. They're just not being invited anywhere. Harry is too down and out, and Meghan is absolutely a liar and unpleasant. And so they've really had it.
They really have had it because, of course, initially they were part of similar circles as they first moved to Montecito. I mean, remember this event, which was attended by Doria Ragland alongside the Kardashians, and also at that event, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. But of course, Bezos and Sanchez know that they simply do not want to drag down their brand. This is an international media event, of course, and it has divided opinion. Lots of protests going on in Venice. Here's how Channel 4 News in the UK is reporting the nuptials. Big news, Outspoken is now available as a podcast too. So please do subscribe wherever you get yours, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and make sure you rate and review. I'll take 5 stars, if you may.
Celebrations have kicked off in Venice ahead of the wedding of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. The pair arrived at their luxury hotel by helicopter after sailing into the lagoon on board their multi-million-pound mega yacht. Many celebrity guests are expected, despite local protests warning that the lavish nuptials are evidence the famous city is becoming an exclusive playground for the rich.
And of course, Angela, these protests would have been even worse if you had factored in Harry and Meghan.
Yes, absolutely. Because they would have, Meghan is so good at getting attention that she would have been there and she would have blocked everybody else off because they'd be watching her. And yeah, so they just decided not to. But they've got loads of people coming. I've got a great list here. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio, Barack Obama, Orlando, Kardashians, Kris Jenner, Caitlyn, who's just come back from Israel where she got stuck, Oprah Winfrey, Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, and Jared Kushner. Donald Trump didn't go. I think that's quite dignified of him, actually. I think you don't go around trying to stop countries fighting if you've got an amazing wedding where all the bosoms have to stand up
Yes, exactly.
as
There's
if they're
definitely a
being called
competition
to
for the
attention.
least natural looking, isn't there? But look, I
I've never
think
seen
I
anything like
know,
it. All of
I
them.
know.
Phew.
I mean, my God. But this is what's going to be so difficult for Meghan, though, because this was the gang she wanted to be part of, because it's not just Oprah Winfrey, Angela, but it's also Gayle King. And remember, they were the two people who were probably the closest to Meghan Markle. And remember, when Jeff Bezos was choosing the most high profile people in the world to send up to space in that mission, which Lauren Sanchez led, and it featured, of course, Katy Perry and Gayle King. Not Meghan. Wasn't asked.
No, you really see now she's out of things, and it's her own fault because she's taking it too far, and people can see through her. People saw through her for quite a long time, but they want to be polite and they didn't want to do very much. But now, the nastiness and the lies when she talks to people are just extraordinary, and so they just don't. It's very easy to drop someone you sort of know, isn't it? It's not a great friend, but she would have been in the class, but not now. And she wouldn't have wanted her there in the plane or the whatever it was. And they just don't want to. She's out. She's really, really out. And I think just as you see that all the things that she's buying and selling and pretending that she's got them when someone else did them, I mean, all this is nonsense now. Nobody wants to buy it. The numbers who are interested have gone right through the floor. And that's because you can't trust her and she's a liar. So why do it?
Angela, Kevin O'Sullivan and Kinsey Schofield have some interesting intelligence on this, which matches what you have been reporting today. Watch this.
Knowing what we've seen of them, could Harry and Meghan worm their way back into the A-list crowd? Or does the desperation that Meghan reeks of right now hinder that opportunity for her?
Well, look, here's another factor about all of those people on the Bezos guest list. So you can take it that the wedding guest list for Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's nuptials is definitively the A-list. Okay, so who are the people on the A-list? What defines them? Two things: they're wealthy in their own right, and they're incredibly successful at what they do. These are the superstars, the people who have massively succeeded in life, have conquered Hollywood, have risen to the top of the tree. Jeff Bezos, meanwhile, has risen to the top of the world tree. These kind of successful people attract. They're like magnetic fields to each other. They come together. Now, how do we define Harry and Meghan? I don't see any signs of success there. Harry, God knows what he's doing. Meghan is not a success for all her shouting and screaming, announcing I've got a new range of apricot fruit spread. This is not success. This is kind of pathetic. God knows what's going on with that woman, but she is not a success. As ever, is not a success. With Love, Meghan was not a success. The next series will not be a success. I don't think the contract with Netflix is even in existence now. So Harry and Meghan have got that terrible thing in Hollywood. They've got the aura of failure. Nothing is more toxic in Tinseltown than failure. And I'm afraid Harry and Meghan reek of failure. That's another reason why they're not going to Venice.
Angela Levin, I think they make a very fair point, don't they? Like, these awful Hollywood celebrities, and look, there's just some pictures of Gayle King and Oprah Winfrey arriving at the event. And I imagine Meghan sees these pictures and hits the bloody roof. You know, she wants to be on that boat. She wants to be on the canal, there's no doubt. But the problem is, the stench of failure means they might speak to her privately, Angela, but they're not going to link themselves to her publicly anymore.
What's interesting, usually, if she's not invited to somewhere, she'll find something else to do. We've seen that with the royal family, the big royal family. If they're doing something, she's got to do something better, and she finds something to do that will get the cameramen taking pictures of her. But here she can't manage it. You know, it's a 3-day.
She can't risk that, can she?
And she can't do that. She can't sneer at the people who actually are far better known than she is and actually succeed in their particular work. And I don't think she can do that. So
no, and the difference
the
is
alternative is to hide away, isn't it?
Well, yes, and that is, I think, what she will do. I mean, time will tell. Of course, there might be a stunt, but I think there is a fundamental difference, which is that these are Meghan Markle's people. You see, with the royal family, Angela, she despises them. She wants to bring them down. With this guest list to the wedding of Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos, it's like, this is her crew. These are the people who she hoped that she was going to be part of. Meghan Markle would have done anything to be at that wedding. And the point is, she's blown it. She's blown it where even her people, even the woke-topians, even the awful diva celebrities do not want her as part of their gang. So it is devastating. Of course, we will see if there's a PR stunt coming, but I think she's not going to do that because she just feels so differently about the royal family as compared to these Hollywood types who are going to be at this wedding today.
Yeah, well, they respect the royal family. They don't have to invite them to their wedding, but they do respect them and they do like them. And the king had, you know, lots of people round the other day, and they were all delightful to him. They were all extremely well known. So she's out on her own. It's not that she's tried to, she's won to get them down. She's the one who's got herself down. It's all her own fault, and it's. I think she will be thinking what on earth she's going to try and get, and also probably shouting at Harry that it's all his fault.
He's always the. He's always.
Why isn't he a multi-millionaire?
Yeah, he's why isn't he a multi-billionaire like Jeff Bezos?
Billionaire.
Angela, you mentioned that event at Buckingham Palace, and I did actually want to speak to you about this. So it was King Charles with all of the influences, but what actually went viral was this moment between the Made in Chelsea reality star Jamie Lang and his wife Sophie Habu, I think it is. And we can look at this, Angela. They turn up at Buckingham Palace and they decide to do Meghan Markle's baby bump twerking dance, clearly taking the piss. Clearly taking the piss. Now, the background to this, of course, is that you were not meant to film at Buckingham Palace. And so Buckingham Palace could have easily just said, oh, you know, please take it down quietly. And they no doubt would have. But what did they actually do, Angela? They commented, the royal family, King Charles's official Instagram feed, commented on this post saying, we see you, with the eyes emoji, the wink emoji. And as we just saw there from Think Beautiful on X, the royal family are not holding back anymore. So this would have been a mortifying moment, Angela Levin, for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to realize, oh my goodness, we're even now being mocked online for the twerking moon bump stuff by King Charles.
So what on earth happened? Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez went full Great Gatsby with their Venice wedding. Think mega yachts, designer gowns, and more star power than the Oscars. Oprah, Leo, even the Obamas got golden tickets. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry? Ghosted. Rumor has it, Meghan's fuming. She reportedly thinks she's a bigger deal than half the guest list. But Hollywood seems to disagree.
I mean, half of her would be pleased that King Charles has done that
Because it
because
means he's seen it, I guess. He's seen
yeah,
it.
he's trying to get his attention, but actually it will be awful. And they were very brave to do that down the stairs because they're the stairs that you mustn't stay on unless you are allowed to. But they didn't mind at all. They just decided to do it, and it works very well. It doesn't look revolting either. I mean, she was quite small, and they both did it together, and it was just fun. And that's how the aides took it. You know, this was fun, and it was just showing someone up because it was a very, very nasty thing to do, and they could do it in an entirely different way. Look, you see, his wife can't move around a great deal, and she's not nearly as pregnant as Meghan was. So there's some proof. And she's just, you know, she's a failure. That's another failure. The PR, the new PRs who delighted they got 43 million people watching, but she's got a very, very heavy aftermath that's going to absolutely cut her to pieces.
Angela, what do you make of this new strategy, though, from the royal family? I mean, do you think it's sensible for them to play this sort of social media game? I know it was all very subtle and everything, but some people would say, well, you know, this is the royal family, the king should rise above it. Queen Elizabeth II would never have done that. I guess the counter argument, Angela, being we're in a new era and social media is where these discussions are at.
Yes, I don't think it's a good idea at all because you don't want to join in. And if you join in something like that, you're going to be pulled into other things. But this, I think, was a different occasion and it was just a joke. And I think that you can let them get away with that, but you don't want them to become experts at responding to these sort of silly things. But I think, you know, King Charles has tried to make life a bit easier, not to be so distant as the king. And Camilla the same. They want to be one of the public and one of the people and be more easily talked to. But this one, they just thought, oh well, it's a joke and let's leave it. But they're very careful, and I think the aides will have been told now, don't do this again and make sure nothing like this happens. It's a very small thing, and also they're dressed appropriately, and it's not bad taste, I don't think. Whereas the other one was absolutely vile taste.
Oh, yes, it was. And Angela, we've got to speak about that video a little bit more in the context of Meghan's moon bump and all of the rumours and all of the speculation. Because for the first time ever, she has sent out the spiritual leader of the Sussex squad, this revolting troll, a guy called Christopher Boozy, who she actually used in the Netflix series along with Harry to hit back at people who are talking about the moon bump and talking about all of the inconsistencies in her pregnancy. And he is claiming in Newsweek magazine, Angela, that that people who talk about the fake pregnancies are making Meghan Markle's life a nightmare. Now, you say she must be desperate to bring Christopher
Yes.
Boozy in.
Why would you bring someone like him? Let me just read some of the things he's now said. Now he's employed by her. They catch you. You can hardly breathe. No, he says here. Meghan is a real person with real feelings, right? So is King Charles and William and Catherine, but that doesn't matter, right? She's a mother who can't share her joy without being weaponized against her. And then she goes on to attack the royal family, saying it's an act of sustained cruelty, what they're doing, against someone who dared to join the royal family while being black, American, and unwilling to suffer in silence. So there he is saying that the royals are sexist And that's absolutely appalling thing to say, isn't it? It was in the 2022 Netflix documentary, and he was absolutely foul there. And he's attacked several journalists, me included. And he always gets in, and he said that he was going to go to several journalists who didn't praise Meghan, but he was brutal. He used to use Newsweek. He'd done that several times, which they obviously welcome him, and said, that he had investigated me and found out that my friends, all my friends, are right aside Nazis. Now, he doesn't know me, but he got someone else who goes to GB News. I don't want to mention her name, but she agreed as well. So it was extremely unpleasant. However, I chose not to speak to him because he's such a vile man that he would like it. He would get all sort of blown up. So I didn't say anything. But I'm a practicing Jew, as you know, and I don't have a single friend who's a Nazi. I wouldn't even dream of it. But his researching is just pathetic. Because
Totally.
if he did, he would have found out that. But this is more important than me. He called Prince William a balding muppet. He called the Princess of Wales was aging as fast as a banana. He called the couples that they were like Harry's aunt and uncle.
Yeah, and
We
also, Angela, do you remember when Catherine announced her cancer
Yeah, that's on my
diagnosis?
next list. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he said it
And
was all fake.
yes, he said it was North Korean propaganda. The social media, and it would be easy to laugh at such absurdity if it wasn't so destructive. And when he heard that it was true, he said in the follow-up, I'm sorry to hear Kate has cancer. I hope she has a full recovery, but it is also very clear that all three earlier photographs of her were fake and the palace tried to cover it up. Now, this is the type of man Meghan wants to help her. Now, you've got to be right at the bottom and desperate if you want some ghastly human being to do that for you. I mean, there's nobody else, is there? She hasn't obviously got the staff to do that. That's fascinating. She's gone back to a man who actually hates the royal family, will say anything for Meghan, but the more he speaks on her behalf, the worse people think of her, because it is such a terrible thing to say, to talk about the royal family like that. Who does he think he is? I mean, how dare he? How dare he talk like that to me? But much more, how dare he talk like that to the royal family, who are, loved and admired.
And also, Angela, I think asking questions about the inconsistencies surrounding Meghan Markle's two pregnancies does not make you a troll.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if people think that, they could say it and that's it. But you don't want some man like him who probably hasn't heard whether she's done it or not, whether she's got someone else to carry the baby or what's happened. But all I can say is that bouncing up and down is not the way that somebody who's about to have a baby. And he said as well that, oh, he's felt great pity for her because, she's got about to have a baby and she's in a lot of pain. Now, she couldn't have been in any pain. She was laughing. She had a lot of fun bouncing up and down. And she couldn't have done any of that if she was really upset. She just couldn't. So what he was saying was absolute nonsense, that she was unhappy and in terrible pain because she would have been lying on the bed with having something that would help her. How she bent right down, I got no idea. She didn't scream. I think anybody else who was that pregnant would do.
Very good point. Now, Angela, earlier in the week, we have, of course, discussed Catherine and some of her health difficulties after she pulled out of Royal Ascot at the last minute. But big news, she's back to work and also back meeting someone who Meghan Markle thinks is her gal, the American billionaire philanthropist Melinda French Gates. That's the former wife of Bill Gates. So before we get to that meeting, I guess this is a very positive sign in terms of her health, not seen in public, but back at work, back meeting people, Angela.
Yeah, I think that she probably had a little sort of pain or just suddenly felt a bit tired, and she would recognize that from what she had when she was really ill. So then what she would do, I'm sure, very sensibly would say, I need to lie down. Everything's fine, but I just need to be very quiet. And I've had 3 marvelous days and I just can't do any more. And go to bed, go to sleep, or not even sleep, and she would feel much better. It's obviously she was feeling much better because otherwise she wouldn't have gone on to this engagement. But it's lovely to see. But what is the pain? The pain for her is that you can never leave that, can you? If you have to watch out for whatever your body's doing, every twitch, every turn, that you actually must get seen by somebody, a doctor, specialist, to see that you're okay. And that's a very hard thing. Yet she is delightful to her children, delightful to the people she talks about. She's doing a lot of work at home about the things that she cares about with children and young families. And so she's trying to keep up. And I admire her absolutely hugely because she doesn't make a fuss. And if you think about what she has to cope with, it's very impressive.
And Angela
That
Levin,
lovely
Melinda
smile.
Gates, the sort of American billionaire who Meghan and Harry thought that they had sort of monopolized. So it's very interesting, isn't it? Look, we've spoken about this a lot. We've tracked this a lot. And obviously at the top of the show, we spoke about it in terms of the Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos meeting. But what's so interesting to me is these high-profile Americans, Angela, they don't want a bar of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, but they're very, very interested in getting close and continuing to build their relationship with the next King and Queen of England.
Yeah, well, that way they can do something good and they can see that, all these people are trying to make a better world and trying to do good things, whereas Meghan is trying to do things for herself. We've seen that all the way through, actually. That's why one of the reasons that it hasn't worked, because it's me, me, me. She wants to be paid, she wants to be admired, and she wants to be talked about as being outstanding. But these people, and Catherine and William and all the rest of them, they want to give, they want to hand over, they want to help. It's the giving and the helping that's the key to being a good royal. And if you want to be a royal where you can grab it all back and make sure everybody knows who you are and thinks you're absolutely wonderful, then that's what she's doing. And she's made a very big mistake because she wouldn't listen to anyone. She thinks she knows best. She wants to do everything herself. And it's not working. And that's because she doesn't listen. And also her attitude to life is all about me. It's all about me, me, not me, 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 me.
But her. Me gain.
Is her royal status slipping harder than a real housewife on opening night? Even the royals joined the roast. King Charles's Insta gave a cheeky wink to videos poking fun at Meghan. Ouch. So, is this the end of Meghan's Hollywood reign, or just a plot twist? Drop your hottest take in the comments, and if you love celebrity drama, smash that subscribe button for more.